Hey guys, StarCraft here, and normally I don't do these type of news things, but when I saw this, I knew I had to make a statement, both for the obvious and the not so obvious. And the Hollywood Reporter and comicbook.com, but I'll focus on the Hollywood Reporter, put out a piece recently talking about shakeups at DC Comics. Now this is fresh. They had given some specifications, but who knows how this is going to change in the long run, but there's some interesting points that we'll go over. Sorry. So let's start. DC laying off 3% of its workforce. Oh boy. 7 of the company's 240 employees are believed to be affected. DC is laying off staff as part of an organization restructuring of Warner Brothers division that will see it focus on its original core business of publishing. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed it is believed that 7 employees, about 3% of DC's 240 workforce, have been impacted. Well, that's still a lot better than bulks of people. Layoffs at DC, a subsidiary of yada yada. They include high-level figures including Senior VP Sales Trade Marketing, John Cunningham, we'll get to him in a moment, VP Consumer Marketing, Eddie Chanel, and Senior VP Art Director, Mark Chiarello. Now, John Cunningham, I recognize that a little bit. He's the guy who took over from the guy in Derek, I can't remember his last name, but the guy who had taken, Derek Madalena, who had taken that spot over by the long-running Bob Wayne, who he's been around forever at DC, was in that same position. So John took the position in 2016. Oh, geez, so he hasn't had the job that long, but I seem to recall John's the one who made the statements about Batman 50 and making it returnable and everything, so he probably had a lot to do with that, I'm betting. Rumors about changes at the company, home to DC, Vertigo, and Mad brands, have been circulating since Wednesday afternoon, helped by earlier unsubstantiated reports that speculate that DC publisher Dan DiDio and Jim Lee could be among those leaving the company. That is not the case, with both actively continuing their companies. Now they've since been organized in 3 distinct areas as of Wednesday's news. Editorial, which will continue to be seen over by Editor-in-Chief Bob Harris. Yes, he's still around. Production and manufacturing, which remains under the purview of Senior VP Manufacturing and Operate, yada yada yada. Here's an interesting one though. Marketing and promotion for DC products will be handled by longtime DC veteran Hank Cannells, and DC Collectibles, the merchandising arm of the company, will be moved under Warner Brothers Consumer Product Toy Team. Boy, I don't know what it's going to do for the toys. I hope nothing bad. I really hope. This move comes on the same day as a reorganization at Warner Brothers Consumer Products, in which 10% of staff will be laid off, sources say. Pam Lifford heads both divisions under her role as president, Warner Brothers Global Brands and Experience. She's the one who reorganized the Black Label brand. But she's also the one who's worked at Disney and seems to be really talking about bringing back the characters to what they were. Of course, this move comes out after Diane Nelson left and then Jeff Johns stepped down as DC President, Chief Creative Officer, etc., etc. And basically there was a memo put out. This will be the last thing I'll be reading. Today has been a challenging day. We have made organizational changes across DC that we believe will help to strengthen and evolve the division for future success. With these changes come difficult decisions, which we take very seriously. We recognize and appreciate that all of our employees have made considerable contributions to our business and that it is difficult to lose colleagues, many of whom have been here for a long time and have made an important impact on DC. We thank them for their hard work and dedication to DC. As always, we are committed to taking care of our employees and will be as thoughtful as possible to those who are impacted by these changes. together with Dan and Jim and the executive team, we spent time assessing DC's business, as well as the comic book publishing landscape. DC is going back to its roots of delivering epic stories with our world-class characters, stories, and brands. Being a primary house of storytelling will never go out of style, and we intend to ultimately super serve our existing fans while providing new, compelling content that engages and excites even more fans around the globe. Rest assured, the direct market will remain at the heart of our business, and we will continue to be one of our greatest strengths. The new streamlined structure is focused on yada yada and separated into 3 teams. Editorial will be continued by Bob Harris. All right, yep, we've gone over that. Yeah, basically, that's what's going on. Now, here's one thing I want to go over. I know it's really popular to want to shit on Dan DiDio. I know it is. And people seem to keep on forgetting Jim Lee's involved. They act like he has nothing to do. And I know Dan has had a notorious past with what he's done, with ideas he's pushed, but he does not always do it all. He might sometimes let it go through, but you remember, he's the publisher. Publishers do not usually take that heavy-handed of a role. Now, Dan has been known for making it seem like he's had more of a hand. I think he does that intentionally sometimes. There was a joke once done in Ambush Bug Year None where it was stated, yeah, he literally did want them to stick the fans on him. But here's the thing. You still have Bob Harris as editor-in-chief. Now, that could be an in-name only, and he does operate under Dan. But why? A lot of this stuff seems to be more the case of the creators come up with it and go with it. And yes, again, Dan pushed a lot of those ideas, but a lot of those were done when he was still editor-in-chief, not publisher. And yes, again, he's publisher, so he lets things go by, but I don't think Dan's fully the bad guy people make him out to be. And here's the biggest thing of all. Now, with Pam around, and she seems like the kind of person, if she really is the type to kind of keep these characters under control, and thankfully from the reading, it doesn't look like they're going to try and change the character to make it more progressive, but instead keep to their roots, then if there was to get someone who could replace Dan, I think she would get someone to do it. But here's the thing. I'd rather stick with the devil you know than the devil you don't. I'd rather stick with Dan, who has still openly been shown to be a comic fan, who knows this stuff, who has shown that he at least gets a lot of characters, as opposed to thinking, nope, I'm going to use it to push my own message. Dan has shown he's doing what he thinks is best. Now, what is best is obviously not that great, but at the same time, again, it's not just him, it's also Jim Lee, who is above Dan now, if I recall. And sorry about that, someone called on my phone, but like I said, Dan, it's easy to shit on him, but why does everyone keep on thinking he's the biggest, baddest, worst thing at DC when, again, he has made some bad choices, but he's also gotten some balls rolling and stuff. And the thing with Bendis, because I know people don't bring up Bendis, that seems more like something that was still come up with under Jeff Johns' roster, unless they rushed it out as soon as Dan DiDio got back in charge, which I doubt, because that doesn't seem like it works. I think Bendis was Jeff's call, because the timing would make sense if you have Kelly Sue DeConnick was one of Jeff's approvals. I think Bendis was too. And I think Jeff was hoping for Bendis to take his spot once Jeff was going to focus more on the movies, but that ain't happening now, so who knows what's going on. But yeah, that's another thing I just wanted to make that clear, is that these people, people just want to just dump on him. But really, unless there was someone else better out there who can do it, someone legitimate, don't say Jim Shooter or someone like that, someone legitimate who could fill the role, I'd rather stick with Dan than have it go out. And again, I think Pam is trying to get things back on track, and it sounds like it too. So let's see how things go out. All right. And this looks like it's an interesting shakeup. Oh, I forgot the biggest one of all. Okay, it wasn't here, but it was on Bleeding Cool. Bleeding Cool is, and pointing out, Vertigo is getting the biggest of the shakeups. Oh yeah, Vertigo. Gee, wonder what that is. I think Pam and the others were really not happy that they really let the border town stuff, I'll just keep it at that. I don't even want to say the guy's name anymore. Having that get as bad as it did, I think that's a big fallout. according to this, they're going to be streamlining Vertigo big time. And I think that is glorious. I think they're going to probably see things through, but for the most part, I think Vertigo is either going to be shut down or reworked to be back to being proper again. I really think they're trying to get things going, and I'm hoping for the best. I really do. Because DC is the last holdout. And at the very least, I doubt there's no way in hell if Marvel goes to being licensed that Warner Brothers, because of their rivalry with Disney, is going to they're not going to send it to DC to do it, but that would be some cruel irony, wouldn't it? If you know your Marvel DC lore and history, it would have been a cruel irony. Not going to happen, but still. That's the news update, and that's really all I have to say for tonight. I'll be posting this up in the morning, so I'll see you all then. Take care.